Hello, everyone, and welcome to the leadership show called My Great Aunt EDNA, the leadership show that focuses on excellence, doing things the right way, no shortcuts, and accountability. I'm your host, Mac McNeil, and today we have a very special guest, Miss Phebe Fuqua. And Phoebe is the president and chief executive officer for Elite Eagle Developments Incorporated. EED firm offers consulting throughout the USA and internationally with business development consulting, healthcare management, employee experience, customer experience, workforce management consulting, and accounting services. Phoebe also travels speaking to various audiences through transformational and motivational speaking, conducting seminars, workshops, and speaking to the attendees. Phoebe has experience in executive operations, healthcare management, workforce management, innovative designs, business development, nonprofit development, religious organizational development, political strategies with operational development, mobilizing grassroots campaigns, and fundraising campaigns. So, as you can see, she's a very busy lady. Additionally, Phoebe has also worked as a political director on progressive political strategy teams. Phoebe recently was awarded the top 50 women in accounting for 2 years, the 40 under 40 top business professionals in Flagler and Volusia County area for 2 years, the top 40 influential businesswomen in Flagler and Volusia County area for 2 years, and also recently the Who's Who's America's Business Owners Award for the last 5 years. Also, she recently was awarded Strathmore's Who's Worldwide 2022. And with that, I want to say welcome to my guest. Phoebe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being a guest. And so, if I understand correctly, you're hanging out down there in Florida, correct?
Yes, the beautiful Sunshine State. I am here in Florida.
That is awesome. And so, on this show, we focus on leadership and leadership development and things of that nature. And you have a wide range of experiences. But I want to start out today talking about what you're currently doing with this organization, Elite Eagle Developments Incorporated. So, if you don't mind, share a little bit about who you are and then the organization as well.
Awesome. Yes, Elite Eagle Developments is a business consulting firm. So the goal is to scale businesses, nonprofit organizations, or religious organizations to really bring their vision to life. And we do that with various parts where it comes from workforce management, strategic planning, accounting, and then all different types of trainings as well. So with this organization, I have a phenomenal team. So we have various departments, marketing department, accounting department, executive coaching department, as well as community liaison department. With this, it came from working in corporate. Life challenges happen with my health, and it's business. So it's just the executive sat down with me and was like, you have a lot of moving parts with your health, with having cancer and multiple sclerosis. Unfortunately, we have to make a decision on your position. It's like, okay, well, I have to transition. And I took something that was a harsh setback for me financially, and I turned it into developing this firm. And it went from zero to now we are thriving in several figures. And it's been an awesome, awesome experience with Elite Eagle Developments with my firm. Yes.
So thank you for sharing that. And a couple things went through my mind as you were telling your story. So, like many people who end up being extremely successful, your story started out with a little bit of adversity. And you talked a little bit about your health. But on this show, I like to get really real because there's some people that are listening right now that are probably going through some struggles like you did as well. So, if you don't mind sharing, like, what was that like? You don't have to get into the details of your health. What was that like? What did you feel at that moment in that transition to get you to where you are right now?
Oh yeah, I don't mind being transparent at all. I was working in corporate. It was an amazing experience. I've always dreamed of doing that. So at that time, I was married at the time and had three babies. Just had my last baby, and health hit
Mm.
me with multiple sclerosis in 2014, then turned around, breast cancer the
Wow.
following year, and then going through a divorce. with small babies, and they were at the time just under the ages of 5. So I was like, wow, all these moving parts. But God was like, you have a vision. I gave you this vision, so do what you've been doing. So I continued to develop the firm.
Hmm.
And growing up, my parents always told me I was an eagle. Eagles soar. Eagles go through different things, and even in the scriptures, you read about eagles, and God talks about eagles and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I like things to be with excellence. So, and I develop a lot of moving parts. So I came up with the name Elite Eagle Developments. And from there, I took what was a broken situation and
Hmm.
turned it into the positive. Was it easy? No. But nothing ever comes easy all the time. You will have circumstances where it's a little bit easier, but this entire process showed me that what's inside of me and what I do for others. First, I have to start with myself, and I did. I developed. I'm a systems person, so everybody knows
Hmm.
me like SOPs all over the place. So I developed standard operating procedures. I developed everything that I wanted to look like before I had a team. And then when the team started to come, I already had the vision laid out, and it was just inputting them in the proper places. So that's where it came from. And during the entire process, not until last year, where I became totally healed. So you're talking about going through
Wow.
chemo sessions, going through surgeries, coming in and out. I'm in the hospital. But I remember lying in the hospital. I'm like, oh, somebody pass me a blazer and I can do this. And I'm like,
Oh,
wait a minute, my
wow.
hair has to be okay. And I'm like, hi, how are you? All right. Now, this is a dive right and nobody knew. And then afterwards, I'm collapsing because I'm tired. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, hide my port. Don't take all the things off, take everything off of me so I can look normal. And not knowing. And then some clients knew.
Hmm.
But I always say starve your distractions and feed your focus. Yes, those were one was saying it's not a true distraction, and it was. It was distracting me from my path on the dreams that was placed inside of me, and I had to shift it. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. What
Yeah.
are you doing with the 90? So that's what I focused on was the 90%. And the 10% I just gave it to God and the doctors. I'm like, you all have to figure this out. I'm a strategist, so I need you to
Hmm.
strategize on this health and let's see how we can make it work.
So, Phoebe, that's an amazing story. You're encouraging me, to be honest with you. What you're sharing right now. I'm going through something personal in my own life right now, and this is extremely encouraging to me. So I know the listeners out there are feeling the same thing there. But you mentioned a couple of things earlier on. You said that you have a team now, and many people struggle with that. Like you have a vision, you talked about your vision and what you wanted to do, but how did you get to the point from, collapse in your family life, health
Mhm.
issues, having a vision, and then building a team? So what was that transition in between to get to the point where you actually have a team that's functioning?
So first, I want to talk about like, and when I was working in corporate for various companies, I had a team. I was over several employees,
Yeah.
so it was a big transition not to have an assistant. That or a support team. That in itself was what I was experiencing from transitioning from work, transitioning in the family. Everything was stripped. So, when you have, even with the family, husband, wife, that's not there. So we have to experience how is it being in a co parenting lifestyle now? How is it being an entrepreneur without support staff? So it took a leap of faith. I'm like, I can't afford to have a staff. And I'm like, okay, what can I do? So it took a leap of faith in order to say, hey, I'm hiring. And everybody was waiting. Oh, Miss Phoebe, you have a business. I want to work for you. I'm like, yeah, hold on, we're not hiring yet. Fix your words. Not I can't afford you. I didn't openly say that. I was like, oh, right now, we're not hiring right now, but eventually we will be.
Yeah.
Well, send your resumes. And I was just looking over resumes. So how did that look? I first developed a process prior to. And
Mm.
then you put my accountant hat on. Okay, how can we financially make this work? A lot of people are quick to hire and slow to fire. I'm slow to hire
Mhm.
and quick to fire.
There we go.
Also making sure whoever I bring on the team, I knew that I wanted to make a certain amount of income. So at that time, they had to their value had to be at least at that time $100,000 value. You had to
Hmm.
bring in at least that much, and then eventually it grew to every person there had to bring in at least $350,000 profit wise, or some kind of benefit or something. That's the only way that you can effectively scale. So you had to see what the worth of everybody was. It sounds great to have somebody helping answer the phones, but are you generating revenue? So
Right.
that's how I had to look at it. I also made sure that I paid myself.
Hmm.
At the time, it wasn't a lot coming in. Even if I paid myself $20, I
Hmm.
paid myself, and I got in the rhythm of doing that. Got in the rhythm of making sure. So having a team is very important, but take that leap of faith, even if you have to put them as a contracted employee and say, listen, right now, I'm going to, have you do X amount of things. And a lot of times people are quick to say, oh, come on, let me hire you. And then they're just sitting there. The staff is
Right.
sitting. Make sure you have an action plan already ahead. And so when they're coming, you're maximizing, because that's time is money.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they're just sitting as a business owner, you're like, why are you sitting? What else can you be doing? So you want to make sure that are actively making money for you. So that's what I did.
I love it. I love it. Very logical and planned out to get to where you are right now. So your resiliency is amazing. And I know you work with clients to help them get, to where they want to be as well. So what are some of the things, like if I'm one of your clients and I come to you, like what kind of services could you offer me to help me be successful?
Oh, that's a great question. So first and foremost, I always do a consultation. And prior to the consultation, I send out an application asking various questions. Sometimes people have time to do it and sometimes they don't, and it's totally okay. But I treat it like a medical practice. You fill out the information so I can understand what needs that you need. And I ask a series of questions so I can see where you are. A lot of times people are like, I have all these moving parts in my brain and I don't know, I want to organize it. I want to have it together first before I present it to you. I'm like, treat yourself as if you're going to the doctor's office. When you go
Mhm.
to the doctor's office, you don't say, I'm going to be healthy before I come to you. No, you come broken. So come to me as broken as possible,
Wow.
because one thing that God has anointed me to be is one who can develop a masterpiece out of broken pieces. And I love to have scatter. I love issues. I like
Hmm.
to fix solutions. And I don't know if that's because I have a degree in architecture engineering, so that's my design part as well. So when I look at that, I'm like, oh, that's okay. And I love to piece it together, and I'll walk you through the process. I literally hold your hand. My team and I will hold your hand through the entire process and develop a strategic plan, develop standard operating procedures, a marketing strategy, a financial projections. You have every single thing, all the roadmaps to success.
Hmm.
And then we jump into implementation. So I phase out everything for you for long-term growth. And also to make sure that your company is team led and not you in the ring as a ringleader in there boxing with everybody else.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
a while, you don't want to be so aggravated with your own baby. And a lot of people are burnt out. And so I try to make it the best as possible, make it as seamless as possible so you can focus on the do. And
Hmm.
I handle all the quote unquote unattractive things, the accounting and the employee workforce management and strategies and all this different stuff. I literally make it very simple for my clients. You come to me, we meet sometimes every week, every
Hmm.
month, or you meeting with some parts of the team, and we're just helping bring it together. We're just piecing everything together for you, and sometimes just doing the implementation part. And you're just focused on being an entrepreneur, business owner, and focus on what is placed inside of you without the stress of handling all of the intricate parts. So
Love your
that's in short
approach.
what it
Your approach is really, really full of wisdom. As I'm listening to you speak, it's well thought out, not only from a tactical standpoint, but there's wisdom associated with it. And so I want to take this next question into more of a leadership thought process. You talked about
is.
earlier that, you're slow to hire, quick to fire. And in Great Aunt EDNA, the A in EDNA stands for accountability. So with your
Absolutely.
team, how do you hold your team accountable and what's the culture that you utilize to do so?
That's an awesome question. Accountability is key. That's what I thrive off of in my team. So I have weekly staff meetings, but daily briefing and debriefings. So
Love it.
that's very important to me so you can understand. So in the staff meetings, I'll start with that. Staff meetings, I always reiterate what the vision is. What is our vision? What is our motto? Why are we here? And what is your purpose here? Because when you understand your purpose, that employee experience goes up, their morale goes up, they feel involved,
Yes.
they feel connected, and they own it. And I say we a lot, and we're going to do this, not I. Yes, I'm the one in charge, sign the
Mhm.
checks, but at the end of the day, I'm nothing without them.
Yeah.
And I tell them that often. And I tell them how grateful I am for them. And I allow my team to do their job. And I say, that's the reason why I hired you. It's because you're awesome. You're phenomenal. You're an expert in your role. And accountability, I always hold them accountable. We have action plans every week.
Mhm.
There's an action plan every month, every quarter. And then also, I'm big on training. You're going to go over these standard operating procedures. You're going to go over different trainings. I'm going to send you to trainings here, webinars, because every day things are changing. And it's also the culture is very self discovery. I take that approach. So I have a coaching type instead of a dictator leadership approach.
Mhm.
So it's all about, okay, so walk me through if they messed up on something, walk me through what you were thinking when that happened.
Mhm.
Okay, so you do understand this is the process. Why did you miss step number 7? Walk me through what you were feeling. Okay, so let's not do that again. So next time we need to do X, Y, Z, and you do understand that you're getting written up for this, or I'm gonna hold you accountable. And it's always that, and they know. They always tell me, I don't know if I am bleeding or did I have a band-aid on me? But I feel okay, but I think you just went in on me, but I don't know. I like that because I never want them to feel so uncomfortable where they're feared. They respect me, but they don't
Right.
fear. Like, oh, I can't talk or I
Right.
can't do so they just know. Um, but I hold them accountable. But what's important, they hold me accountable too. So if
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
like, I'm so they're like, okay, Miss Phoebe, wait a minute, fix your face. Like, ooh,
Mhm.
this situation or I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, well, walk us through what you feeling. So it's two ways. It's not
Mhm.
just one sided. So that's how I do. And then I'm really big on making sure that they are putting the proper things in their body. So even if it means that me having a massage therapist come to the office and just
Oh, that is
relieve,
awesome.
we're stressed, I have them come and we have a session and they come in just in the chair and just relax
Mhm.
and whatever. Or just maybe it's a pour in. So that's how we hold each other accountable. And I hold my staff accountable either on their projects within themselves or whatever things personally that they're dealing with. We have to make sure body, mind, and spirit, as well as professional in our profession, we have to be strong and solid because people lives are at stake. We literally have people lives. Their entire accounts are in our hands.
Yes, it is. It is. Our leadership styles are so similar. I'm listening to you speak, and it's almost eerie. It really is. And I'm going to do something for you that I've never done for any guest on my show ever. I'm going to send you a copy of my book. Normally I just
Oh,
tell people where they can get it, but I really do
okay.
want you to read it because there's so many similarities in there, and it might be a nugget or two that might help you out there. But I love your
Yeah. Thank
leadership style and your approach, the way that you do things. So move into I call this my staple question. I ask everyone that comes on this show this question. So in today's environment in 2023, as a leader, what are one or two things that pisses you off that you wish that you could change?
Woo.
Yeah.
Um, where do we start? Are you referring to when it comes to staff or
Whatever you
just
want to talk about.
I would say, and I don't know how it is where you are, but when it comes to the younger generation,
Hmm.
when it comes to their work ethics and their expectations of work ethics
Hmm.
and accountability, so much goes on with that. I have interns. I'm really big on interns and cultivating the babies. But when they come, it's like they feel a little entitled
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
their paper or potential piece of paper, their degree. I was like, I have degrees too, baby. But at the same time, we have to make sure that solid foundation is there. So that really, really upsets me when they come and feel like that. Also, the lack of diversity
Hmm.
in the marketplace. And we've come so far. I don't want to
Yeah.
say that we have not come so far, but yet we're still so far away. And that's something that really grieves my spirit when I see that. I'm like, man, we have so much to do, but also it plays on the next generation. We have to make sure we pour into that generation. It
Yeah.
doesn't start in college. It starts in middle school, in
Hmm.
high school. So I really capture them a lot with a lot of mentoring that I do. I do a lot with that in the community, especially with aviation. Part of the Black Pilots of America.
Hmm.
So I I've been flying since I was 17, but with the health and stuff, they stripped me, and because of like the tumors on my brain and all this different stuff, so I shifted that to really focus on pouring into the youth versus me actually flying. Now I'm able to fly, but I say all that to say the expectations of what they feel, or a little bit entitled. I just really feel like we can do a better job at really educating them on the reality and really working hard. And then also the opportunity just in the marketplace in
Hmm.
general for minorities are not as good as they should be.
Agreed, agreed. And again, this conversation is eerie. I just want to let all the listeners know, like, we don't know each other, but
No.
I fly as well. Yeah, Cessna 172 SPs. I started flying at French Valley Airport in
Oh,
California, so yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
awesome.
But going back to something you said, you're talking about the generational issues that you're having with the younger generation. So there's a show that I did with a gentleman by the name of David Stillman. So if you go onto my podcast page, find that
Okay.
episode with David Stillman and listen to that. He's a generational expert. And he talks about what you're stating, but he has some interesting twists on it. And after you listen to that episode, if you're interested, I'll connect the two of you. I think it would be really, really interesting.
Okay.
A good
Awesome.
conversation for you there. But I can definitely relate. And then when we talk about the opportunities in the marketplace with diversity, that was actually a question that I was going to ask you about your workplace. Like, how do you approach diversity, equity, inclusion in your workplace as a Black woman that started her own organization? Because normally when
Mhm.
we see DEI right now, it's typically like a Fortune 500, Fortune 100, and they hired a chief diversity officer who happens to be Black, and so we're working on
Right.
that progression. But thinking about an entrepreneur state, starting out with your own organization, how do you approach that?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm really big on making sure. So my team is very diverse. So I don't, of course, one would say, and I tell my clients this as well, especially the minorities, mix it up. Don't just have a whole bunch of, or don't just have none of you at all. Like mix it up. So mine is very diverse. I also have their different speakers as well as far as languages. So I have Spanish, Creole, as well as French. And
Mhm.
I'm soon to hire someone there from Japan. So gonna hire on the tech side. So making sure that we have that diversity that's
Mhm.
there. Because I do a lot of international consulting, so I have to make sure that diversity is there. And when you walk in the office, you don't know who's in charge as far as is this a black owned or is it white
Mhm.
owned, is it Hispanic owned, is it what are we getting here? And
Right.
I like that because we live in a world where it's a melting pot. And
Yes.
I don't want the mindset of, well, this is going to be that type of approach or that. No, we're here to make sure that your care is 100%. And that's just the care of your account, the care of your vision that's inside of you. So I'm really big on that, but also making sure it's very clear when I do my strategic plans for clients as well. Like, okay, you have to look at it from a diversity approach because I have experienced it all when it comes to diversity. So, I have a very diverse clientele as well. So that's my approach when it comes to the diversity is
I
very, very
love it.
important. But not just when it comes to the type of race, but age as well. A
Hmm.
lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to hire this age demographic because XYZ. You'll be surprised what those hidden gems in different generations can bring.
Yes.
It's all
Yes.
about who's cultivating it. That's and so it's very diverse this summertime. So I have a lot of youth in there. I'm big on career mentoring. So have a couple middle schools, high school, and then also college. And they have their roles and what they do, and the clients love it. And I
Hmm.
force them to love it because it's kind of they have a stigma of all these kids. They don't know what they're doing. The marketing team is amazing because why? That's all that they're doing is technology. So that's what I like to do is make sure it's not just diverse on what the skin color or gender, age as well. That's I'm really big when it comes to that as well.
Awesome, awesome. So this has been a great dialogue. We're going to wrap it up here, but before we go, I want to turn it over to you just to tell the audience out there anything that you want them to know about yourself, your organization, or your future plans.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. So again, I'm the president and CEO of Elite Eagle Development. You can find me on all the social media platforms under Elite Eagle Developments or under my name, Phebe Fuqua. So that's all of the social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. My website is eliteeagledevelopment.org. I have a couple books coming out. I have a business strategy journal that gives you roadmaps to developing a positive strategic plan that will be coming out next week. And then also a standard operating procedure business strategy to help you navigate through that. And some other books about my health. Those are all coming out within the next month. So I've been busy writing. And if you want to learn more about me, you can definitely reach out. I'm available to really pour out to people. But most of all, I want those who are entrepreneurs or just have a desire to do anything, really focus on starving your distractions and feeding your focus because life is going to come at you left and right. But you have to be resilient to know that you have a purpose in life because life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. And in the words of Miles Monroe, I want to die empty. So if you're full of a lot of things and your goal is to die empty, that is a phenomenal way to think about life because you want to rob the grave. The grave is the richest place in this world because it's so full of potential. But if you have the mindset of, I want to be able to pour out a lot and rob the grave, you will have a fulfilled life.
Amazing. Make sure you follow her, reach out to her, find out about her organization. And for the listeners and viewers out there, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so you can hear from other great leaders from all over the world. And with that, I say thank you, God bless, and may your week be excellent. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into today's show. And I definitely want to thank Miss Phebe Fuqua for being a special guest today. She is the very definition of overcoming obstacles. She's a dynamic woman that I am truly impressed with. So please, we're going to put her information up on the screen and reach out to her for business consultation. She is motivated, dedicated, and anointed to do this work. And also, I want to remind everyone that my book is available now called My Great Aunt Edna, The Golden Girl of Leadership, available wherever books are sold. So make sure to get your copy today and also like and subscribe to this channel so that you can hear from leaders from all over the world today to help you in your own leadership journey. And with that, I say thank you. May your week be excellent and God bless.